Hey there gaming fans, Darth Carnivorous here and welcome back to another epic gaming video. And guys, as promised, this is going to be my handheld collection video. I did a handheld collection video about a year, maybe just over a year ago. So I have got a few new upgrades, a few new additions to the collection as well. If you watch my latest video, which was on my Atari Lynx. You can just watch that if you like. If you want to see the full video, see how it all works and how good it looks as well, like the screen and stuff like that. Since it's obviously been upgraded to the Retro 6 clean screen. Obviously, go right ahead. I will show it off in this video, but obviously that's a more in-depth video. You'll get to see a lot more. You get to see the thing in action. So anyway, so right here is where I keep all my handhelds. I've got a couple out to start with. And first of all, we've got this one, and this is my, if I can get out of the zip, there we go. So this is my Game Boy. I'll put the flashlight on. Yeah, so this is my DMG Game Boy, and I do love this thing. I really do. I love the size of it. I mean, for a guy who's got big hands, it's obviously it's very narrow, but you know, to be able to just kind of hold it like this, it's just so much comfortable because I can hold it like this, put my pinkies underneath, and I can play this for hours. You know, it is a really fantastic console, and yes, this does have an IPS screen. Very beautiful looking screen as well. But it's kind of obsolete compared to other things that I've got. Don't get me wrong, I do love this thing. I'll explain why I say obsolete, so I'll explain that, momentarily. But yeah, so this has got a new shell, new buttons, new screen, new speaker. Yeah, it's got the works. So it just doesn't have a rechargeable battery, but I do have rechargeable batteries that can last a hell of a long time. So obviously well, you can't plug it into anything and use it that way, but it is what it is. Maybe in the future I will end up getting batteries to install to it. So, give me a sec, guys. Right. So what I meant to say by was when I said it's sort of obsolete was compared to this. Okay, so this is my Game Boy Color. Okay, I do have a Game Boy Pocket. It's in this box, but it's in this box. Underneath all my handhelds, there's another box, and you have to dig through them to get to them. So I have shown off my Game Boy Pocket in the collection video I did a year ago. So if you watch that one, you will see, obviously I do have it. I still do have it, guys, just in case you're thinking, oh, you probably sold it or got rid of it or something. I don't. I still have it. Anyway, so what I was saying about the DMG being obsolete compared to this one is because, one, this has got a slightly bigger screen. Yes, this is IPS as well. Two, it's a Game Boy Color, so it's backwards compatible with Game Boy games. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I do have battery charge in this one. I don't have batteries obviously in my original DMG. So, and there we go. So obviously I've got flash carts with these things as well, and we can just play any game of my choice. Game Boy Color, absolutely fantastic. I love it. I really do. So that's my go-to Game Boy to play Game Boy games. What's next? Okay, yep, I've shown off a video of this in action as well, if you want to see this one as well. And this is my Sega Game Gear. So yeah, this has been, it's got new housing, so it's got a new case. It's got, what is that mark? What is that? Oh, I think it may be a hair. Maybe one of my dog's hairs. You can see it between the lens and the start button. Yeah, I can just clean that off. That's no problem. Let's see, just quickly do that. There we go, that's it gone. Yeah, so this has been completely rehoused, so it's a new shell, new buttons. My friend who done the shell swap for me, he kept the original D-pad because he says that you won't get anything better. Third-party D-pads are never as good. It's got an IPS screen as well. I think it's the McWill screen, if I'm sure. I'm not 100% sure if it is. I'm positive there is. It's got a new speaker, so this thing is loud. It's crazy loud. Also, it's got the clean battery as well from Retro 6, so you can recharge it by USB-C, and obviously the battery's going there. These batteries last hours. I mean, I'm probably talking about 15 or 13 to 15 hours, depending on brightness, sound, what game you're playing. And this thing is absolutely incredible. I love it. I really do love it. Now, the only thing about the screen is, and it's just a minor thing. I've mentioned it in the big sort of video done when I first got this thing, and it's that sort of screen where it goes inverted. You know, the higher you get. So as you can see, the viewing angle's getting a bit washed out looking, but it's only like there. But I mean, if you're sitting like this, it's perfect. So once you get over that, like for me myself, once you get over that, it is amazing. Obviously, the brighter you go, that's the full brightness, guys. The brighter you go, the less you can see it. So that's really good. And yeah, just like the Game Boy, I do have a flash card with this one. The Flash Gear GG, and yeah, so this has every Game Gear, SG-1000 and Master System game on here, so you get 3 consoles in one. So that is fantastic, it really is. And I do absolutely love this thing. I love the colour. And oh, that's what I forgot to say, guys. It's got a glass screen protector on it. Not a glass screen protector. It's got a glass lens to obviously stop scratching being shown up as easy. And next we have, I've shown this off obviously, this is my Atari Lynx. Let's see, get this bad boy out. So this is one of the biggest handhelds that I've got for obviously back then. And yeah, this does have an IPS screen. Doesn't have a built-in rechargeable batteries. It does have rechargeable batteries, which I charge up myself. But I've done tests on this thing, and I've fully charged 6 batteries. And you know something, guys? I've been playing this thing non-stop, and I've nowhere near done the batteries. Now you can't check the battery indicator or nothing like that. Doesn't show you anything like that. But yeah, as you see, guys, this thing is absolutely beautiful. And yep, just like the other two, I've got a flash card for this one as well. This is the most expensive flash card that I own. This cost me £96 from Retro 6. I know that there's other ones. There's was it El Cheapo? But I couldn't really find those ones, to be honest. So, oh well, it doesn't really matter anyway. I got paid extra this month, so that's when I decided to buy the screen, the clean screen for Atari Lynx, and also the flash card and the capacitors as well. So yeah, they've all been recapped as well. So these will last another 3, 4, 5 decades, which is great. Okay, so here's my big box of tricks. Okay, let's see what we got in here. Aha. Game Boy Advance. Now I do try and get as many official cases for my handhelds as I can get my hands on. Some of them are very, very hard to get hands on. Some of them are, you know, like the Game Gear or the Game Boy or the Atari Lynx for over 3 decades old. So trying to get cases that are in, you know, relatively great condition. This is actually in great condition for the age of the thing, you know. Yes, this is a bit puffy because I've got all my games sitting in this one bit. But yeah, there's no rips, no tears. It will do the trick. Whereas in the Game Gear has got an official Retro 6 case. That's the only one I can find. My friend does have, my friend that done the mods for me, he does have a couple of Game Gears. I think he's got 4, and he's got the official cases, but they're just kind of like bags. They don't provide any protection whatsoever. Whereas if you feel something like this, it's very spongy. It will provide some protection. Let's see. Aha! There we go. My beautiful. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. There's a back casing's come off here. My beautiful Game Boy Advance. Yeah, so this has got a version 2 IPS. I think they're up to version 5. I don't really know what the difference is, to be honest. And the thing is though, guys, like, I remember when the Game Boy Advance first came out, this was the colour that my dad bought me. And I got Jurassic Park, the DNA Factor, or Jurassic Park 3, the DNA Factor, and also I got Mario Advance, which honestly, guys, I just played constantly. I couldn't stop playing it. The thing is though, back then there was no backlit. I think this doesn't have a charge in it either. No, it doesn't. I can't even show you that because it does have a Retro 6 battery in here, rechargeable through USB-C, as you can see down the very bottom there. Is it Retro 6? I don't even know actually. Tells you right there. Does that say Retro 6? I don't even know. It probably possibly is. Now I do have another Game Boy Advance which is in the same box. So in the same box, underneath all the handhelds, is a Game Boy Advance. It's a completely white shell, but it's got a kind of crap backlit LCD screen. There's no brightness function on it whatsoever. There's no, it just doesn't look that great, to be honest. Whereas in this one looks a hell of a lot better. You know what, guys? What I'll do is, so I'll take my, I've got a battery bank here which I always use to charge up my controllers. This one right here. So if I plug this in, there we go. There we go. So it's definitely charging anyway, and then you just turn on. There we go. And I do love the fact that this has got the sort of grey, I don't know what you would call that colour, grey anyway. And obviously got the white lens as well. It just looks so damn good. My dad bought me the same one, apart from obviously the white lens. He didn't get them back then. And as you see, look how amazing this screen looks. And if you hold in select, L and R, increases and decreases the brightness. Very, very cool. I'm going to actually charge this thing up so I can give this thing a little go. As you can see, I do have Metroid Fusion in this console, but there we go. Here we have a Game Boy Advance SP, and it's an official case, which is great. Like I said, guys, I'm always trying my best to get the official cases, and as you can see here, this is completely 100% modded, and damn, I do have a flash card, but it must be in the other Game Boy. Damn, which is in that box. That's weird, I thought I left it in this. Oh well, it's not a big deal. It's, if you're wondering what flash card it is, it's the, what's that called again? Something 4. Damn, I can't remember. So yeah, as you can see, this one, I have put an anti-glare screen protector on here as well. This has got a bigger screen. This is the biggest Game Boy Advance screen you can get. It's massive as well. It's absolutely massive. This does have rechargeable battery inside of it as well, and yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. But the only thing is, it's a form factor for me. It's very, very cramped, like really, really cramped for my hands. Whereas in obviously that layout, obviously the horizontal layout is perfect. You know what? Let's see. I can turn the screen on if I can get this unplugged. There we go. Just plug that bad boy in. Oh, I'm doing this. You know what? What am I doing, guys? I've not played this thing in such a long time, but you know what? Get back on there. The battery seems to hold its charge, weirdly enough. So I can guarantee you this one's going to be on. There we go. And yeah. So I don't know if I can show you. As you can see, it's got RGB lights as well. Beautiful. So it's going to be hard to kind of measure it up. But the screen it's a couple of millimeters bigger. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, obviously. But, take my word for it. Yeah, it's a great one to play, but it's very, very cramped. Now the thing is, on my B button keeps sticking. So I need to actually see if my friend will open this up for me and try and get that one unstuck, but that's for another time. It seems to be the batteries that are inside the Game Boy Advances, they do just drain over time, whereas in the one in the SPs, well, that one in my specific SP holds the charge better, which is fine, which is great actually. I love that feature. Right, okay, let's see. Aha, next we've got my beautiful Nintendo 3DS, and yeah, I saw this in my local CEX, this little bag here. Looks like a little backpack, or a satchel, and I saw it, and it was only 50 pence, and I thought, you know what, I want that. They did say, oh, there's a couple of bits of damage here and there. I said that for 50 pence, I don't really care, to be honest. So you get the little pouch there at the front. I don't really know what that's for, to be honest. I don't know if it's for styluses or micro fibre cloths or something, I don't know. 2 zips here, so this one will expose the console, and this back one here will I can actually get it to zip open. There we go. Gives you space for at least 12 games, and as you can see, I've got an R4 card in there, which I don't use because this thing actually completely eats your battery power. Even if your system isn't even turned on, it will completely drain your battery, so avoid them like the plague. Let's see. My beautiful Nintendo 3DS. This is a new Nintendo 3DS, and as you can see, I've got one of these acrylic cases as well, so this helps with the hinge wobble, which is fantastic. The system was quite beat up when I got it, you know, so that's why I put this sticker on it. This electric looking one looks really good. Plus, obviously, I've got the case on it as well. But the screens are actually really good condition. I can't even remember if I've got. I don't know if I've got screen protectors on these things. I'm not really sure. I think I do. Actually, maybe I don't. I don't know anyway. But yeah, as you can see, if you look at the buttons, okay, if you look at the A button specifically, it's got like this sort of layer. It's like very shiny compared to the other buttons. So that means that obviously the person that had this before me, he was consistently rattling the A button. That's why obviously the greasy film from there has been lifted. It remained. I have tried to get it off with like isopropyl alcohol, and you know, it just doesn't work. So I just need to accept the way it is. You know, it's not really a big deal. This thing is completely modded. They've got 128 gig SD card in here with every 3DS game on here, every DS game on here, every updating DLC, and there's obviously other games on here. There's homebrew games, there's all the virtual console games as well. Actually, you know what, I'll just quickly boot it up just to show you guys. As you can see, it's got its own splash screen. You can get these ones, you know, anywhere. Well, not anywhere, obviously, off the Anemone site. You just skew it. You just scan it with a QR code with the cameras that are built into the system as well, which is very handy. These screens are not IPS. These screens are just normal LCDs, and obviously the IPS is a lot better. The way you can tell is if you go to the side there, you can see it's still really good viewing angles, but it starts to get slightly washed out, whereas in most IPS screens don't do that. As you can see down the bottom there, I've got all my games that I could ever want to play. And look at that battery. I've not played this thing in months, and I take it out every couple of weeks, or every month or two, just to give it a little charge. And it's still the original official battery that's inside this thing. It still holds a charge. You can still play this thing for hours. It's fantastic. As you can see, I've got all different folders. There's the Twilight menu for the DS games, SNES 9X for Super Nintendo games, MGBA for, you know, obviously Game Boy Advance games. I love this thing, I really do. So whenever I get in this sort of Nintendo mood, I break this thing out and just have an absolute blast. Oh, by the way, what I was saying about the hinge protection, well, not hinge protection, it actually stops the hinge from being all wobbly, so it does tighten up. So if I put a lot of pressure on it, that's me tapping it, and you can see it's not wobbling whatsoever. So if that's one of the things that bothers you, like it bothered me a lot, I would recommend you getting one of these cases. And if I can, if you do message me, if you do comment down below, I will try and remember to look for a link. Obviously, there's a possibility the link that I've used is long gone, possibly dead. The listing might not be there. So if you ask, I'll try and remember. Let's see what's next. Let's see. Aha. Here we have my beautiful Nintendo DSi XL. And this is always one that I always go back to. And look at the condition of this thing. This does have one of those there's those cases as well. But this one, these hinge parts aren't that tight, so it still wobbles slightly, but it's not really that bad. The reason why I use this is basically because when I bought this thing for £50 from eBay. Okay, it came boxed, it came with everything, so the person that had it before me looked after this thing. There's a possibility they may have just maybe played it once or twice, put it back in the box, found it later, obviously put it on to sale. But I mean, £50, when I saw it, I'm like, oh my, no way, look at the condition of this thing. And I bought it instantly. And then when it showed up, I was like, no way. But I'd already bought one of these cases, threw it on, because this part here is very, very prone to scratches. You obviously, it's the cases in front, it's all scratched. Any scratch you can see, that's what it is. Underneath here, there's very, very minimal scratches, or really hard to see. You'd have to have this flashlight shining on the system itself just to see these scratches. And yeah, this thing is beautiful. This does have the original battery as well. I did have the R4 card inside this one. This completely drained the battery while the system was off. Very, very irritating, it does it. But I have modded this thing with I think it's a 16 gig normal size SD card. Oh sorry, it's 32. So I've got 160 games on here, so that there's hundreds of DS games, but I only put on the ones that I think that I would like to play. And yeah, I did buy a skin. The only skin I could get for this thing was, as you can see, look at the condition of this thing, guys. It's absolutely immaculate, other than the manky thumbprint I've put there. But these do have screen protectors on them, so don't need to worry about that. The reason why I've kept this skin on, this was a Lego Star Wars skin, and I only kept these parts on because I wasn't really interested in showing it off in the whole body. But the reason why I keep these on is because when I got this one, yeah, there was a little bit of someone's thumb grease kind of around here, but I managed to get that off with isopropyl alcohol, which is obviously great for things like that. But I decided to get the skin just to keep these parts on, so when I'm playing it, and I can just be kind of pressing all these buttons, the thumb, any greases on my thumb or fingers will obviously kind of catch here, which is fine. It won't go in the actual system itself, because that's the sort of thing that would bother me. I'd have to kind of clean it every single day. Oh, that would be so irritating. So yeah, this thing's completely modded with the Twilight menu as well. And what you see this thing, guys, this thing is beautiful. So it does take a few seconds to boot up. It's just the way it is. I do love this thing, guys, I really do. And I do, just like the 3DS, I do take this thing out and charge it every month or two, just to make sure that it's got a, just make sure that the battery's working alright. There we go, and as you can see, it's got a full battery as well. And I've tested this thing out multiple times, playing games for hours, and the battery still holds a big charge. So yeah, as you can see, you get the game icon, you get the box art at the top there. That's for Phantasy Star Zero. Let's go to a more popular one. There's New Super Mario Brothers. There you go, you get the box art. You also get the icon at the bottom there. You just select it just to put the game up. It's as easy as that. So, like I said, they've got 160 games on here, and obviously you get the stylus at the side there. It's official stylus as well. I do have, sorry guys, I do have the big fat stylus as well. Now these consoles, these come with IPS screens, as you can see. You turn the angles, it's still full colour, beautiful angles as well. And if you want to go back to the Twilight menu, just hold in L, R, down and B, just for a few seconds, and as you can see, it just kind of blinks, and that's you. So it does take a few moments to obviously access this SD card and whatever else. There is 160 games on here, and I'll prove, actually like 161 games, and I'll just show you what that is in a minute. So there we go, 103 out of 160. You can delete them from here as well if you like. But if you press the select button, this will take you back to the well, it's similar to the, obviously, the, what you call it, the original DS menu. So as you can see, I've got a game in there, in that slot, and it's a game that doesn't run well off of anything that's modded, and that is Golden Sun Dark Dawn. So I bought the cartridge, and it's the official cartridge. I bought that one so I could play the game, and I just keep it inside my DS. And yeah, this is it's definitely an official one. It's not a bootleg. It's not fake. And I don't know why it doesn't work with flashcards and other things. It doesn't even work on the Nintendo 3DS, weirdly enough. So that's why I decided, you know what, I'll just buy the actual thing itself, you know. Okay, next we have my beautiful PSP 3000. Yeah, absolutely love this thing. So yeah, this is modded as well. Have every PSP and PS1 game I could ever want to play. I was actually playing this a few days ago, so I did fully charge it. Pardon me. And yeah, so it's not an IPS screen. I do have one with an IPS screen that I will show you in a moment, but the reason why I play with this one is because the IPS screen one I got was reshelled into a third party shell, whereas the weird thing is though, like the D-pad's a bit more sunk in. So see, like I like to play games like Darkstalkers Revenge. Was it Darkstalkers? What's that called again? Darkstalkers, Street Fighter, you know, those sort of games. And obviously you need to do like full circles, half circles, and it doesn't really register on the D-pad, so it does kind of put me off, you know. Let's see, what was that called? Darkstalkers Chronicles, that's the one. The Chaos Tower, beautiful game, absolutely beautiful game. So yeah, it's fantastic, it really is. Let's see, shut down device, there we go. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of scratches on the screen, but that's due to this protective acrylic case, you know, which does add a lot, because these things are small and they're quite thin, so adding a bit more girth to the case is a bit better for me for having big hands. So sorry guys for mentioning, I'm not boasting that I've got big hands. Sometimes it can be a bit of a burden having big hands with certain things, especially if you're a gamer and you want to play, you know, older games on like smaller controllers or smaller consoles, smaller handhelds and stuff like that, and it's quite frustrating sometimes because, you know, as you know, the cramp sets in and it's just not very pleasant. Right, okay. Oh god. Oh, sorry guys, my back's getting a bit sore. So here we have this is my IPS model, like I mentioned there. And I've kept, my friend that done it, he kept the original official buttons and analog stick, or slider, and obviously these buttons here as well. But if you feel here, obviously you can't feel here obviously, but the buttons do press in normally, but it's so weird. In this part here, I don't know if you can see, it starts to bulge, but it's this bit of plastic here that just, with that screw, I don't know if the screw head's too small, it just won't catch. So it's very, very irritating. But the screen itself is absolutely beautiful, guys. It really is. I need to charge this thing. Yeah, this thing's modded as well. And yeah, so I was thinking about maybe buying a PSP 1000, one is in, you know, the best condition I can get it in for the price, and asking my friend if he would swap it over to that one, so obviously I would get a better D-pad, better buttons, whatever else. So as you can see, if you can actually pretty much put my whole thumb on there and it feels like there's nothing underneath my thumb, they're that shallow. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but yeah, they don't look that bad on camera, but it's the feel. It's the feel, guys, you know. Let's see, just shut that down. So yeah, both of these PSPs have 128 gigabyte SD cards, or SD, whatever the hell they're called, the memory card things. And yeah, they're fantastic. Getting a lot of stuff on there, you know, a lot of PS1 games, a lot of PSP games. I don't really bother much about emulators and things like that because I think the only ones that I've got is for the Capcom games, the arcade games, so I can play like games like Alien vs Predator, Marvel vs Capcom. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, right, let's see. Oh, camera's just going to fall forward there. Okay, there we go. Here's my, yes, here we go. Here's my beautiful PSP 1000. So this has got a 512 gigabyte SD card in here. And yeah guys, this is glorious, this thing. So when I bought this thing, this is a 1000, so this is the OLED model, so it's a far better screen, better colours, better blacks, better whites, you know, and it's so damn beautiful. And playing games on this, you're playing games like Killzone, Mercenary, Uncharted, Golden Abyss, what's the other one called? Even Little Deviants. It's not the best game in the world, but it's actually still fun to play. I do have a glass screen protector on here, but if you look up the top there, guys, right there where I'm pointing the light, there's a scratch on that screen. See, because the damn screens are plastic, you know, you just can't, it's just unavoidable. I do have a skin on here as well, on here and underneath, just to keep more protection, and I've got this aluminium case as well, which I do like. It adds, just like the PSPs, it adds a bit more guff to it, makes it a bit easier to hold. And yeah, by the way, this one's got USB-C charging. Yeah, fantastic. It doesn't fast charge or anything like that. It's obviously going to charge the same speed it does with the proprietary cable, but I think it's 160 PS Vita games, all updated, all DLC. It took me ages to configure this one, guys. Obviously, when I bought this thing, it was already modded. I had the card in there, obviously, and I just deleted off most of the stuff the previous owner had, and put all my own stuff on there. But as you can see, I've got 160 PS Vita games, 100 PSP games, and I've got 150 PS1 games. Well, that's 151. And there's a hell of a lot of homebrew. There's N64, there's RetroArch as well. This is the Crazy Mac build, so it's got 11,000 ROMs on here. I've got the same setup on my Wii U. And my God, guys, I'll just put this one up actually, and you can see for yourself. It's got, I can't remember how many systems, but there's a lot of systems here, so it's got pretty much every handheld, every home console, up to, Super Nintendo. I think it's got 32X in that as well. Damn, I need to clean these screens, you know. So I actually loaded up quite fast. So, yeah, there we go. Neo Geo Pocket Color, Sinclair, Sega Mega Drive, Master System, Game Gear, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, NES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo, or the Famicom Disk System, Famicom, TurboGrafx, PC Engine, MSX2, Game & Watch, Super Nintendo. These ones, I don't know what they ones are. Oh, they're hacks. That's what it tells you in the background there. And the list goes on and on and on and on. As you can see, there's a lot of different categories as well. Absolutely amazing. I love this thing, really, I do. This is one of the ones that I would take on holiday with me, just because I can charge it via USB-C, plus it's so small, you can just slip it in, obviously put it in a backpack, no problem at all. Excellent, I love it, I really do. Let's see. Oh, I've got a big massive pile of handhelds. Actually, you know what, I'll just show you quickly. There we go. Check out all those handhelds. Yeah. So many, and I've still got a few more to do. Right, okay. And here we have my PS, well, so there's the case for it. This is my PS Vita 2000. So the one you've seen there was a 1000. That's got the, pardon me, the OLED screen. This one's just got an LCD screen, or an IPS screen. Obviously the screen on this looks great, but it's a bit washed out compared to the OLED model. Obviously if you had both you would instantly see that, but see if you just had this one, you know what guys, you would just be super happy with that. Now when I bought this one, the person that modded it, I don't know if there's any battery life in this one. I've not charged this one in quite some time, and nah, I think it needs charged. I really do. Let's see. Nah, it needs charged. Yeah, so it's micro USB-C charging. Micro USB-C. What the hell am I talking about? I do have anti-glare screen protectors on here in the front and the back. And when I bought this thing, I had to mod it myself. But when I bought this thing, it was in immaculate condition. It's got a 200 gigabyte SD card in here. Like I say, guys, I had to mod it myself. I had to learn how to mod it because I accidentally deleted some plugins, which completely, even though everything was on the SD card at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing. I learned how to mod it. I'm glad I did, because obviously the build I got was a bit better. So, yeah. This thing is beautiful. It really is. 200 gig SD card in here, and it's got retro arts on here as well, and lots of games, and yeah. Oh, I love this thing. I really do. I just wish that this had an OLED screen. Apparently the battery lasts about an hour more than the OLED, but I haven't really seen it. Then again, I've not really spent much time with this ever since I got the OLED. I've not really played this one. That's probably how the battery's dead. I need to charge it just so I don't waste the battery. The battery doesn't waste away. So I'll just put that on to charge right now. There we go. Just wait for that little orange LED to come on there. And it came on. So yeah, that's my PSP 2000, PSP 2000, PS Vita 2000. Okay, so next we have, actually, I'll show off this one. Right, there we go. And we're getting to the bigger ones now. So here is my Tom case for my Nintendo Switch OLED. So yeah, we're still in the OLED territory. You know what, guys, give me a sec. It's actually getting quite dark in here. Now, one of the coolest things, actually, you can get one of these here in the UK. They're called Everready, and they're just basically plugs. You plug them in, plug a device in them, obviously. Make sure it's a lamp or some sort of thing, and then when you sync it up, you just press the button where you want that to go. So, for instance, if you look at the lamp, you don't even need to point it. It's not one of those ones. So you just, there we go, turn on the lamp. And over in the corner there, just press B. There we go. Pretty cool, eh? So that's obviously a lot easier than getting up and having to turn it on. I did have timers, but the timers would start to tick like a bomb. Obviously, I'm not scared of the bomb noise. I'm just, see when it's very, very quiet at night, it would just be ticking, 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 ticking. Oh, it was just, it got louder and louder each time. It just got very, very frustrating. Anyway, so yeah, here's my Nintendo Switch OLED, and obviously I get a good few games in it. I think I've got 15 games. Oh, I've got more. What's that? 18 games in total. Not bad. Yeah, so as you can see, it's got an anti-glare screen protector on here. Yeah, I put anti-glare screen protectors on everything. A lot of people think that it completely ruins image and makes it blurry. When I first got a Nintendo Switch, the very, very first one back in 2017, I got the launch model. I had a screen protector and an anti-glare one because at the time I had one on my tablet. It looked amazing. I had the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, and when I got the screen protector for this one, it did look really, really blurry. But if I power this thing on, you know, you can see that no problem. I've turned the flashlight off just so you can see the screen properly. There's no glare. I mean, you can read that, can't you? There we go. Oh no, what does that say? I can't read it. You know, I mean, these ones are really good. These are glass as well. So they're very, very, very thin, flexible glass screen protectors. Very easy to apply. You don't get any bubbles or nothing like that. And yeah, they're really, really, really good. And as you can see, I do have the official Hori Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know what the hell they're called. They're not Joy-Cons, obviously something other than Joy-Cons, but I can't use Joy-Cons. They're far too small. They're way too small for my hands. Even back in 2017 when I was trying to attempt to play it, I just get severe hand cramp. I mean, at that time I would really, really want to play Zelda. And that way luckily I got a Pro Controller with the bundle that I got, so I just used the Pro Controller. But when Hori obviously brought out theirs, I was like, right, okay, that's an instant buy for me. And these things they're very, very comfortable. They're really, really comfortable. Oh, right, we're getting there, guys. We're almost there. Got 3 handhelds left. Okay, so here is another Tom case. Yeah, you probably know what this one is, judging by where the analog sticks are. And let's see. Yep, this is my Steam Deck OLED. Now, I've not put any anti-glare screen protectors on here because this has got an anti-glare coating, as you can see. I do love my Steam Deck, honestly, guys. I play this thing non-stop. I don't know about you guys, but I do. When I had the Steam Deck LCD, I played it a hell of a lot, but I didn't play it that much. But then when I got my OLED model, I don't know why, everything else just, I don't know, everything else just kind of was better on the OLED. Not that it ran faster or played better, because it's the same things as inside. I don't know why, I love playing the, wrong side, try to power this thing on. Well, that was fast. And see, as you can see, the way the game's laid out, I'm using one of the Decade plugins, which is a CSS loader, and that's why it looks like this. So you get obviously the sort of nice thumbnail, and then you get the nice background as well, which does zoom in and out, which is quite nice. It does that for every single game, which is really, really nice. And obviously playing emulating games on here, I emulate up to PS2. I know you can emulate to PS3 and 360, but I'm not really interested in things like that. I've got an Xbox 360 sitting down there. I've got a PS3 in my storage as well. So, but I do love this thing, guys. I do have the JSOX case on this one as well, which does have all the accessories you can attach to it. I just keep the kickstand on there. Very, very nice case. Very, very comfortable to hold. And I love the fact that they're symmetrical sticks. You know, just like the Wii U, just like the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Right, okay, 2 more to go. There we go. You probably knew this one was coming. And here we have the Asus ROG Ally. I mean, look how beautiful that logo is. You know, with the naked eye, it just looks like a normal logo, but obviously in camera you can see it's all multicoloured. It looks so nice. And I do like that, the Republic of Gamers. But one thing I do love about this zip is, if you look at this, watch this one, guys. The way it opens, you know. I mean, you may think, really, Darth, it's just a zip. But when you zip it back up, how seamless it looks. I don't know, it just looks really cool to me. You know, and you're probably wondering, why did you get this case though? It's a very soft case and it's not going to provide a lot of protection. You know what? I take great care of my things. I don't throw my things about. I don't throw them into backpacks. If I was to kind of walk about, I would kind of keep this one next to me. Yes, if you listen, you can press the analog sticks. I have got a solution for that. I'm waiting on coming from eBay, so I will obviously sort that solution will be sorted. So let's just get this thing out of its case. And there we go, my beautiful ROG Ally, which, yeah, I've got thumbprints all over this one as well. Yes, this does have an anti-glare screen protector on it as well, and it's got one of those nice cases as well. You can put the sort of clip things in front of it to protect it, but I prefer having the case. But I kept, you know, the sort of this case here. Now I have upgraded this to a 2TB NVMe, so I've got a lot of games on here, guys. Really a lot of games on here. I don't play this thing as much as I used to, but I do love the D-pad on this thing. Is fantastic. This is the best D-pad on any, you know, handheld PC I've ever used. And the nice big buttons as well. The thing is though, I always wanted the, what do you call it? Oh, what was that called again? The MSI claw. Now I've not really any interest in the claw, to be honest, but I like the fact that the buttons light up as well. So that's, I mean, you get the analog sticks to light up, that's fine, but I'd love it if the buttons lit up as well, even not the shoulder buttons. But the one thing I always wanted was, see, for these handheld PCs, obviously a lot of people use these things for emulation. Now, can you imagine if like these buttons were little OLED screens where you could program them? You know, so if you're playing a PlayStation game, you can program them with little PlayStation icons, or like Dreamcast icons, or you know, Nintendo icons, or what, you know, you get the idea, and that would be so damn cool. Obviously, you know what, guys, I play all different consoles, different makes, as you can see. So I've got that muscle memory where I know for a fact if you're playing a Nintendo game, you know that's A, that's B, it's swap, all the buttons are swapped around. You know, so you kind of get hardwired that way. So yeah, that's obviously really good. Let's see, get this one put back in its case. I think I've got it. Yes, I've got it in the wrong way. Silly me. Right, okay, guys. So I've got one more handheld to show off. You know, you probably know what this one is. Then again, you might not know what it is, but You know, just bide your time, bite your tongue, sit back, enjoy yourself, have a little drink, just like I'm doing right now. A nice little drop of amaretto. Oh, lovely. And here we have the biggest handheld I own, and that is the Lenovo Legion Go. There we go, and since day one, I've got an anti-glare screen protector. You've probably seen that one coming, but this thing is beautiful. I mean, I can't even fit into frame. My God. The D-pad's horrible, just like the Steam Deck, just like any other handheld PC. The D-pads are always quite horrible. So playing a Street Fighter game or whatever else you have to do, half circles are very, very hard to pull off. Now you're probably thinking, why don't you use the analog stick? Now that's a good question. I grew up with Super Nintendo, so playing Street Fighter and games like that, obviously like Mortal Kombat doesn't require half circles here, half circles there, whatever else. They are more down forward, down back, forward forward inputs. Whereas in games like Street Fighter, King of Fighters, all those sort of games, all require half circles, full circles, whatever. And I grew up with D-pads, and it's just the way I'm wired. It's just the way my mind's wired. And playing games on this fighting game wise just isn't an option for me. So I play games on the Asus ROG Ally because all the inputs are fine on that D-pad. That's a sort of circular D-pad, but as you can see, this is a cross. You know, even though the Super Nintendo is a similar D-pad, but it's not as good. Well, the Super Nintendo is. This is not as good. But this thing is amazing. The screen is absolutely beautiful. 144 Hz refresh rate, and it's so good. Plus the controller's detached, just like the Nintendo Switch, but they're not like Joy-Con ones, and plus they've got their own batteries as well. You can't use them like Joy-Cons, you know, to play two-player games. It doesn't work that way. But as you can see, this thing is really, really thick, but it's not as heavy as it looks. And as you can see, I've got a nice case on this thing. I've had since day one as well. So when I bought this thing, I bought the case, bought the screen protector, put them on since day one. I haven't upgraded the memory, but it is a 512 gig NVMe, plus it's got a 1 terabyte SD card in here as well. So I'm pretty much sorted for all the memory that I need. So, oh man, that was a long video, guys. So yeah, I've got my massive, as you can see, there's two handhelds there. I've got a massive pile of handhelds right next to me here. Yeah. Oh. So yeah, you can see that I'm a handheld enthusiast, and I do love my. Let's see, I'll turn this off. I do love my handheld games. I do love my home console games. Handhelds are great for obviously on the go, or maybe I'm the sort of person when I was younger I would play my Game Boy or my Game Boy Pocket or my Game Boy Advance, whatever, while watching a movie. I would play the game. I can't multitask as much as I could when I was younger, but I could watch a movie. Say I'm watching Jurassic Park, but I'm playing Jurassic Park on Game Boy Advance or Game Boy, for instance. I could watch both of them. I know exactly what's going to happen. I know I can hear the dialogue. I can focus on both. I can't do it as much these days, like I mentioned, but I still do it. These days I'll throw a movie on, or as you can see, I've got my original Xbox on, just listening to music. You can't hear the music obviously because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But I can just throw on the Xbox, or I can throw on a movie and just throw on a game on one of my handhelds and just kind of relax, just sort of vegetate and just enjoy myself, you know. It's always been really good that way. And yeah, I do love playing games on obviously on my home consoles, and I can pretty much any game I've got there I can emulate on, you know, my handheld PCs, which is really, really, really good. Obviously, you can't emulate PS4 games well, but you can't emulate PS5 games or Xbox Series games at the moment. But give it time. I was saying about 20 years' time. Can you imagine the technology in 20 years' time? You know, people will be looking back at the Lenovo Legion Go and the Asus ROG Ally and the Steam Deck and the MSI Claw as retro devices. You know, we'll have all these different devices. But I think my prediction for the future of home consoles is going to be similar to Nintendo Switches, but without the docks. You know, just plug and play. You know, so you're obviously getting your new you know, your new Steam Deck. You've got your new Steam Deck, which you can, that's obviously the whole entire console, and then you just plug a USB-C cable in, or obviously USB-C, HDMI, or whatever it is, and then boom, that's you. You're sorted. That's how easy it is to set up the console, connect a controller. That's how easy it's going to be, guys. I can guarantee you that's what it's going to be like. I think that's why PlayStation or Sony brought out the PS Portal, kind of something similar to that, but obviously that's just a streaming device. It's not a handheld. It's not really something you can take with you. I have seen videos and posts on Reddit and things like that where people are like halfway across the world and they're playing a game on their system, which is, it's very impressive. It's really impressive. But I prefer to have games installed to the memory because you know for a fact you're not going to get any input lag and latency and buffering and all that crap. Yes, obviously games may be unoptimized or they maybe not able to play on that specific hardware, so you will get, you know, bugs and glitches and things like that due to obviously the way the game is. But at least you don't know, you don't have to stream it, you know, which, you know, fair enough. I'm not really much for a streamer, to be honest, for streaming games. I've tried it. I've tried it with services like GeForce Now. I haven't tried Stadia. I had no interest in Stadia. I do have a Stadia controller, which I bought from my local CEX for £10, and I've unlocked the Bluetooth mode on it, so I can use that as a Bluetooth controller, and it's a very, very high quality controller. It's beautiful, it really is. I leave that in work so that when I take in my Steam Deck or I take in something else that I can connect that controller to and connect it to my portable monitor and play it on my split shifts. You know, it's as easy as that, and I've got a decent controller to use. So anyway, guys, yeah, this is a very, very long video. If you made it to the very end, give yourself a pat in the back, get yourself an extra drink, get yourself a cookie, get yourself a cookie on me. And I do hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Yeah, so I've got a lot more stuff over the last year since my last video. I've got one more handheld to get, which I will do a video when I get it. You probably know what that handheld is. If you don't, put a few comments down below and let me know what your predictions of my new handheld is going to be. And anyway, guys, that's it for the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed this one. So if you did, smash the like button, throw me your double horns. Also subscribe to my channel for more epic handheld stuff like this, and sayonara.